Hi, this video is for my brother's YouTube. He's got a YouTube and I don't know how. I'm an older guy. But anyway, I've got a Mansfield toilet here. It's my sister's and it kept running. Or no, it didn't keep running. But what was happening when you flush, it was very, very difficult to be able to pull this plunger up. And it was so hard, she thought she would break this. And actually, my dad would open the top and lift it just so that it wouldn't break this handle. But water would splash out. I came up to visit, and I did Google it. But you can see there's a red gasket down there. And it's very easy to do. You take the water hose off. Let me actually turn the water off so that you can see this. This will squirt all over, but anyway, and you take this top thing off and you can kind of disassemble this. And I didn't want to have to take this whole thing apart. Then I got to take the back tank off. I got to take the 3 bolts down there, and it could be just a mess. You got to replace the connector gasket between the tank and the toilet. But anyway, I'll drain this down. See, it flushes properly now, and it's not leaking, but I'm going to drain it all down. And nobody explained this on the YouTubes. I saw it in a writing, but you see the gasket down there. There's that gasket that it actually, this is the one that I pulled out. Sorry. This is the one that I pulled out. It's supposed to be flat. It's supposed to be flat, and you can see that it's cupped. It was cupped like this. And what it was doing, when that plunger thing came down, that round thing came down, it pushes up. This is where it lands, right on the outside, and it just makes a tight seal around, just like this. But I don't know how old this is, but with the weight and the suction pulling it down, it just bent this flapper, and it actually created a suction because it was just connecting too much, or it was getting sticky. It's actually a little bit sticky. So it was very easy. I took this off. I took the top part off. I showed you. I took this out. I take some of them are a chain, I guess. Some are this lever. It's very easy. And then you pull this off. Sorry for the camera work. I'm not versed in this, but this is good information. But you see the gasket down there. I put the new gasket in. It actually, there's a groove right at the very top. It's the first groove that gasket has to sit in. And I thought I set it in there perfectly, but I didn't. I put this back on, and I try it, and it would start leaking down. Took it off, I did it again, and then I read, and it says it's got to be perfectly level. Mine was cupping, which made me believe that if it's cupping, one part of the gasket must be pulling. Here, down here, one part of the gasket must be pulling out a little bit, where it wasn't actually seating down in there. When I touch this bolt, you get that black chunk. Anyway, if this was pulling, it's not seating, so it's actually cupping down. I'm sorry for the camera work, but it's cupping downward and creating a hole. So I came back in, and I actually spun the gasket. I spun the gasket lightly down there, and I ran my thumbnail. I'm getting that black all over. It's not hurting anything. It's just ink-like. But I ran my fingernail all around, all the way around, and I lightly spun it. And then I put this here back on. And I put that back on. And I could actually see the gasket. Before I did that, it was actually bending down just a little bit on one side. So that's why I ran my fingernail, but it should actually look flat all the way. But let's fill this a little bit. We don't have to fill it all the way. fill it. Well, we can fill it all. Here, this will help fill it faster. I'm sorry for the dead air here. I don't do these movies. When Joe and Doctor up and cut this out. But anyway, that's probably full up. You'll get the idea. Well, I'll bring it right up to the lip. That's where you can really tell. It's almost full. It'll come right up to this lip here. And you'll hear it. You'll be able to hear it. You can also look in the toilet and see that the water's not moving, so you know it's not seeping through it. You can hear perfectly quiet. You can see that it's right to here. It's not leaking down. You can kind of see in the toilet there's no movement in there. And so that's what the deal was. I didn't want to have to replace a $27 part, take it all apart, and have to do that. It would have been my luck that the seal still wasn't set right. Anyway, that's how I did it. If you post this, if you're seeing this, you thought it was worthy, and I hope it can help somebody, because it is troubling when you really can't figure out when you think you're doing it right. But hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching.